Hello, loved ones. Thank you for joining me today. And if you're new to the channel, then welcome to the family. Can you believe that we are halfway through Married at First Sight Season 14? It's my intent in today's episode to review the episode called The Journey So Far Boston, which featured the panel discussion. Please subscribe so that you can be part of the congregation. If you want to be part of the conversation, then please shout out in the comment section below. If you are excited about a particular segment, then please see the timestamps in the description box. So let's get started. Welcome to Fueled by Intentions, where we talk about faith, family, finances, fitness, and fun. Sponsored by Bynum's Business Solutions, where the right fit is made simple. We specialize in tips, tools, and strategies designed to help you achieve your financial health so that you can take control of how you spend your money so that you can spend more time with your family, friends, and doing the things you love. So let's jump right into the video. In this episode, we had the panel discussion, and I always love to see the panel. And I'm especially excited about this panel. We had Kevin Frazier, who hosted the panel, and I was so glad to see him back in the studio. Then we had Angelique Jackson from Variety, Emily Longretta from US Weekly, Nicole Haynes from Ebony, and Donna Rizzo from Rizzo with Love. And I'm so glad they invited Donna back again. She is a fellow YouTuber. I actually watch her. So I really did love to see her on the stage. The panel discussion started out with the panel discussing what they thought the shockers were for the season. Donna indicated that maybe Mark didn't get what he bargained for because Lindsay was able to match his energy and now Mark is fading. Nicole said she was really glad to see that Chris called it quits instead of ALYSSA. Emily indicated that OLAJAWON has been able to hide Isaac from KATINA. And Angelique, she felt that she was wrong about Noe and Steve. She is really surprised about how they are getting along. And then Kevin rounded it out by talking about the fights between JASMINA and Michael and how he is surprised of how they have been interacting. I totally agreed with all of those assessments, except the one with OLAJAWON. I don't know, maybe I'm like KATINA, but I really think OLAJAWON wants this marriage to work. Although I don't think he's going about some things the right way, I think that he's really trying. And I don't think that he is hiding Isaac. I think that he is really changing for the better. And what it reminds me of is Woody and Amani. I remember when Woody's friends felt like he wasn't ready for marriage and he really wasn't going to do well in this process. And we see that Woody has done exceptionally. Therefore, I have to disagree. But all of the rest of the assessments, I think they got it spot on. Those are definitely shockers and highlights of the season. The first couple they discussed was Chris and ALYSSA. And let's remind ourselves of what they said in the preseason. Kevin is the only one who thought this couple would not make it. All of the ladies indicated that this couple would be successful. So you know they are totally shocked that it ended 10 days in. One thing that was interesting is they too noted that it was the ALYSSA show and that ALYSSA forgot she was on Married at First Sight and she wanted to do things her way, but she needed to get with the script. Kevin indicated that ALYSSA will go down in Married at First Sight infamy. They thought it was a great call that Chris called ALYSSA out at the dinner table about not wanting to really work on the relationship. And Angelique made a really good point that this was the only way Chris could do it because she was not talking to him in private. The entire panel agreed that they could not see what they were missing about Chris, that he was a really good guy, and they could not see the aggressiveness that ALYSSA discussed. They rounded off by saying that Chris is now ready, as he said, to meet his match and that he will have ladies in his DM. And they decided that we're done talking about ALYSSA. And I think we all can agree that we are all done talking about ALYSSA. Let's move on to Noi and Steve. In the preseason, Emily, Donna, and Kevin thought that Noi and Steve would make it, and Nicole and Angelique thought that Noi and Steve would not make it. Kevin indicates that Noi and Steve, that they are a cute couple. And then they reviewed Noi saying that she loved Steve on the third day. And I loved how Emily pointed out that she did not say, "I love you," and that Steve said, "I love you" first, but that she said that she was falling for him. But they still thought that that was a little early, but they did agree that Steve said, "I love you" first. They then talked about the finances, and I thought that Donna Rizzo made a really good point, because she said that it's not that Steve does not want to work, which is the same impression that I get. It's not that he doesn't want to work. He doesn't want to work on a traditional job, but they all agree that he needs to give Noi a plan, and that her fears are valid because of her background and where she came from and how she grew up in poverty, that would be scary to anyone. So they all agreed that Steve needs to give Noi some type of plan. They talked about Noodlegate, and Angelique brought up a really good point, that it wasn't about the noodles at all. It really was about Noi cooking for the first time. And Nicole indicated that Steve had been home all day. He hadn't been working, so he could have watched his own noodles. They all agreed that going to social media not only was the wrong idea, but also was disrespectful to her husband. And they sided with Steve in indicating that that was not the right thing to do, and also that their family would be watching. They then showed us a sneak peek of Noi and Steve. And Steve is talking to Dr. Pepper, indicating that Noi again has went to social media. And in this post, she said, "The moment you start to wonder if you deserve better, you do." So again, the panel and myself, we all agree that that was disrespectful. And I agree with Steve. In that clip, he indicated that she was breaking a boundary. So we'll see what's going to happen about this post and how they're going to rebound from this particular part of their relationship. They then moved on to JASMINA and Michael. Let's remind ourselves about the preseason. Kevin, Angelique, and Emily said that this couple would stay together, and Donna and Nicole said this couple would not make it. They made some great points about this couple. They talked about how when they communicate, neither of them are listening. They're only waiting to get their word in. And also they talked about JASMINA not feeling Michael, and because she's not romantically feeling Michael, that she is not giving him the slack that he needs in order to make the situation work. They said that Michael is sweet, but he is not sexy, and that he needs to bring a little sexiness and romance into the relationship. I thought they made a really good point. They compared JASMINA to ALYSSA, and how both of them talking about aggressive behaviors that we don't see. Angelique indicated that JASMINA likes to be right, and if you are not agreeing with what she's saying, then she considers that to be aggressive. And I totally agree with that. And Nicole said that people are passionate when they talk, and it's not the same as being aggressive. Sometimes our tone changes and it may be elevated because of our passion, not because we're aggressive. And I agree so much with that statement. Oh my God, I thought that she was spot on. And then they showed us a sneak peek, and Michael was teaching JASMINA how to drive. I can't even imagine not being able to drive in today's society. But I don't know. I forgot which. I guess she's in Boston. Maybe they have great public transportation. But I can't even imagine not being able to drive. But Michael was so patient with her. And that is what the panel noted. Donna Rizzo pointed out that this could be a great thing, that she is allowing Michael to teach her to do this. So that would be a positive memory. The first time I drove was when my husband taught me. So I think that the panel evened out where they all believe that this couple will stay together, and they have a lot of hope for this couple, as do I. They then moved on to Mark and Lindsay. Let's remind ourselves about the preseason. For the preseason, Kevin said that this couple would not make it, and all the ladies thought that this couple would. They said that Mark the shark is now Mark the fish, and that he is fading because of the big personality of Lindsay. They did note that he was on board and on fire and ready to stand behind her, and that he was right there for her despite of what he had heard that Lindsay is a lot. But because of her outburst, he is embarrassed because he does not want conflict, and he does not want conflict around him. And Nicole related it to that friend that you have that is always in the drama and you don't want to be a part of it. And of course, that's what we've been saying. I think that's what I enjoy most about the panel, is it gives us a temperature that yes, we are on the right track, and there are others who are seeing it like we're seeing it, and therefore we are really watching the same show. They described Lindsay's personality as volatile. And also they pointed out that Lindsay always brings up how she helped him and put on a hazmat suit. And I totally agree with that. You can't do something for somebody and then continue to throw it in their face. You can't do that. And we see that from Lindsay all the time. I was really glad that they brought that point out in this episode. They then showed us the sneak peek, which was Lindsay going off on Mark, asking him, telling him, he doesn't validate her, doesn't make her feel special, all the things that we've heard before. And him telling her, you always say you're gonna leave. You always say you're gonna leave. And she asking him, you want me to leave? Do you want me to leave? That's a yes or no question. Do you want me to leave? And then she storms out after she tirades him on a big rant about he is never there for her and that type of thing. And I agree with the panel. Lindsay is just talking, and she doesn't believe anything that she says. She is just talking off the cuff without thinking. And I think that this could be her downfall. But I didn't see nothing new in the clip. It's what we've seen before. Lindsay going off. She doesn't have a clue. She doesn't have a filter. And she doesn't even know what she's saying. And what she's saying is not a great assessment of what we see going on in their relationship. They then moved on to KATINA and OLAJAWON. So let's remind ourselves about the preseason. In the preseason, Nicole and Angelique thought that KATINA and OLAJAWON would say yes. And Rizzo, Kevin, and Emily thought that OLAJAWON and KATINA would say no. One thing that they agree on is that OLAJAWON is great television. They actually don't believe that OLAJAWON has changed. They believe that he is just holding Isaac back to come out at the right moment. And they believe that the whole thing about not consummating the marriage is a fake, for him just saying what he thinks he needs to say. I disagree with that. I think that OLAJAWON, I'm believing him. I think that he is trying to change and do the right thing. And I don't think that he wants to violate KATINA just in case this relationship doesn't work. And I believe that he is trying to do something different than what he's done in his past relationships. They talk about the cooking and how that is archaic, and that they agree with Dr. Viana that that is just not the way to go. And everything should be a team. And I love when they said this, that it's about teamwork. And OLAJAWON wants it to be the OLAJAWON show and have his own cheerleader. They say that Katina is going along with the relationship because she is scared and she really wants to be married and she doesn't want to lose him, which I thought is true, but very sad because you do not want to be in a relationship of where you are scared of losing the person. I think it's true from what we see, but I think Katina is speaking up behind the scenes. I think that maybe she has just been taught not to embarrass your man and that she's really watching how she interacts with him on TV and taking one for the team. I don't know. That's just a feeling that I get behind the scenes. I hope. Katina seems like a very mature, strong young woman, and I don't think that she would just be being silent. So I'm gonna have to disagree with the panel on that one. They also reviewed the scene where OLAJAWON was dancing for Katina at their wedding reception, and just like us, it made them think of Justy and Shanice. So they compared them. And last thing they said is that OLAJAWON needs to be married to Steve, and then he'll have his house husband. Since Steve wants to be a house husband and Elijah wants somebody to cook and clean, that would be a perfect match. I was really, really disturbed by the sneak peek. They showed us a sneak peek of OLAJAWON talking about a discussion that he had earlier with Dr. Pepper. And the sneaky thing about it is Dr. Pepper and Pastor Cal were listening to his conversation. And basically he said he had had a discussion with Dr. Pepper and that she wasn't helpful at all. And he wished he would have talked to someone who could have helped him move further in his relationship. And what he indicated was that Dr. Pepper said that he was belittling his wife to make himself superior, which I think we all can agree with that. That is what it looks like from our point of view. He is belittling Katina. Now, personally, I don't know if he's doing that on purpose or if that's just the way he talks. And I do think whether that's the way he talks or not, he is going to have to change because it comes off both belittling and disrespectful. The shocking thing about that clip is that he said that Katina supported him, and because he doesn't see it that way, and he told Dr. Pepper that he doesn't see it that way, and Katina supported him in that. Now, the panel believes that Katina supported him in that because she is scared of losing him. And they also said that he was being disrespectful to Dr. Pepper and that he just showed that he doesn't respect her. I can't wait to see how this turns out because I too believe that that was disrespectful to Dr. Pepper. And I really hope that OLAJAWON apologizes. But that was it. That was it. And the last thing they showed us was what was still to come. And they showed us a lot of great moments to come. A few of my favorites was JASMINA and Michael holding hands at the table. And Noe indicating, do you think you're in love? Because we know Noe loves to throw around that word. So I can't wait to see and hear how JASMINA and Michael are progressing. And I love to see them holding hands at the table. In one clip, JASMINA was dancing with Michael. And in another clip, Noe and Steve looked like they were taking a hip hop class. So I'm really excited to see that. I love dance and I think it's fun to just do fun things together. So I cannot wait to see that as well. They showed OLAJAWON and Katina, and OLAJAWON telling Katina that she's gonna have to make a decision for herself as well. So sounded like a pretty serious conversation. So I cannot wait to see how that panned out. And we see them in the couples game, and evidently Lindsay loses. And I'm not sure if I want to call her a sore loser because she just said, I don't care what you guys think about me. And hey, sometimes you just don't. So I don't see that as a negative at this point, just to see how it all plays out. But we see that they're going to have a lot of interaction. Looks like they're at the cabin, and maybe it's the couples weekend in the cabin. So that should be interesting too. But I love to see them play the couples game, which is usually how well do you know your spouse? And I can see Lindsey losing because I don't think she's listened or heard anything that Mark has to say, and I don't think that she knows him very well. Well, that puts this episode in the books. Let me know what you think. Shout out in the comments section. What did you think about the panel's discussion? Did you see a shocking moment that they didn't cover? What did you think about them changing their guesses? Do you think that's fair? Since at the end, somebody is going to win a trophy, and I hope they do it on their original predictions. What do you think about the sneak peek? What was most shocking? Do you think that Noah and Steve will overcome this social media hump again? And what do you think about the things still to come? Is there something that you're really excited about that you can't wait to see? Let's have a conversation about it in the comment section. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, live with intention. Be intentional.